Okay, so here is our board. Get out my handy dandy pointer again. So here again is our PIC 18F4520 chip. Here is our analog discovery. It's wired into a couple of places. This is just ground. Right up here is the voltmeter that's hooked directly into port A pin 0, so I can read the analog voltage. Here is the potentiometer, the little dial. So as I turn this dial around and round, I make another voltage. I'll actually be able to read that on the voltmeter. And then the LEDs up here, the left LEDs up here, blue LEDs are going to be port D, but again, that's kind of hard to see, and port B has some LEDs on. So instead, what I did is I instrumented here on the analog discovery, 4 bits coming out here that I can use virtual LEDs on the analog discovery to see what's going on. So watch as I turn the dial here. We can see port D lighten up going up and lighten up going down. For some random reason, port D pin 0 is on the left. So that one lights up first. And if I turn the dial here, so get 1 resolution, 2, 3, all the way. So again, those are really hard to see in the camera. So instead now I'm going to switch over to my instrumented analog discovery. Okay, here's my analog discovery. I should be able to now expand the camera, make it big enough that you can see both. Okay, so we can see me turning the dial, and as I turn the dial, we can see the voltmeter on channel 1. I'm up to 39 millivolts. Now remember, our resolution that we solved in the problem here was 0.3 of a volt. So 0.3 of a volt. So until I get to 0.3 of a volt, I shouldn't see an LED come on. So there's 0.2 of a volt, 0.3 of a volt. So once I cross that threshold at 0.3 of a volt, I get my least significant bit turned on. I have 1 resolution, 0.3 of a volt. As I continue to turn this up, I can get 2 resolutions, so I get 0.6 of a volt. If I crank this all the way up, I can get all the way up to 5 volts, which is translated as all ones, so 15/16 basically, our max resolution. And the other one that I wanted to test here was halfway. So remember, the halfway point was around 2.5 volts, right? So there's 7, 8. Notice we got 2.5 volts here on our voltmeter, and we're at halfway on the resolution. So there it gives you a quick demonstration of actually doing analog to digital conversion, reading the analog voltages on the voltmeter, and actually being able to display these digitally. We'll pick back up with a second video where I'll actually wire this up and use a function generator to generate the signals instead of my fingers on a little dial.